Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me today. So I'll just quickly test the PowerPoint and my clicker first. Yes, I think it should be working right now, right? Okay. So yes, the sharing topic today, we have a very, very long name, but just bear with me and then forget about the title for a second. I think the first thing we want to explore is our company. So I'm the managing partner of Cultivate. We're a brand technology groups in Asia. We have about 250 full-time employees, and we specialize in communication strategies and also how to use the latest technology to help brand to connect with their consumer. So most of the brand we surface are luxury and premium brands. And the first thing on why we're talking about all this, right, Metahumans and BrandTech, all this stuff is because of the consumer. So one of the trends that we have been observing in the recent year is next gen is now. And actually, if you look at tons and tons of research report, you will see that Gen Z and even Gen Y and Millennial is actually becoming the major driving force behind the consumption market, not just in luxury, but also in the mass consumption. And what they care about nowadays is very, very different from, I think, how we traditionally perceive the word luxury. Have any of you guys here seen these sneakers before? Any of you? No? So these sneakers, I think, if you bring this 10 years back, I think no one, probably no one, or very, very little people would be willing to pay for this type of sneaker, and then no one would perceive this as luxury. But nowadays, this is actually a sneaker from Balenciaga, which sold over 1,800 US dollar, and you can't even get your hands on it. And the whole trend behind this is when the new generation, Gen Z, millennials, when they look at the luxury market or when they look at consumption, what they value is not the traditional perception of richness or how this can showcase how much money I own, the wealth, social status. What they care about a lot is about the self-expression. So does this item speak for myself? Does this item speak of my interests? Does this item speak of the a group of community that I felt my belonging with? So if you look at one of the most successful luxury brand out there in the world, Louis Vuitton, they've been doing tons and tons of progressive innovation campaign and innovative movement in their brand, product as well, across from utilizing different tech, from digital experiences to self-discovery and collaboration. So they're actually one of the first brands to work with a very popular major mobile game, League of Legends, right? Where it's not just about launching a virtual skins, they actually launch a physical collection of merchandise, which sold out really quickly as well. And with all this new collaboration that came out last year, that people were crazy about, the collaboration with Kusama, Yaoi Kusama, and not just the traditional, digital billboard that you see anymore. They do a lot of innovative 3D digital OH. They utilize AR technologies to engage with the new generation through, social platform like Snapchat. They also, created the avatar and also an NFT game, with blockchain enabled to celebrate the anniversary, to get closer and to attract, to resonate with all these young audiences. So results, they're now one of the world's most valuable luxury brand out there in the world. So what we see here is one of the very important words is about purpose. And like I mentioned, purpose actually drives directly towards self-expression, right? Every single day, I think nowadays, I'm a Gen Z myself, so I can speak for part of the Gen Z, I guess. I think what we're looking for daily is about, the self-identity, right? What are the group that I resonate with? What are the identity that I have? People are constantly looking for this. That's why they care a lot about self-expression. That's why they care a lot about whether this brand resonates with my interests. If I'm a gamer, that I play game every day, I spend most of my time online or mobile game. If there's a brand that resonates with my interest group, then I'll be more than willing to spend money on this brand. And it's not just about how the mass market, how the traditional perception of how much the brand is worth anymore. And this type of self-expression basically turns into a social currency we have nowadays, and it becomes a social capital. And you can well argue that this chart is actually well applicable to all the traditional luxury world out there. But I think the key difference is the group that we perceive this social capital and social currency on is not as mass as we have in the past anymore. For instance, the Balenciaga sneakers, it speaks of a certain high social capital value within a certain interest group, right? A group of people who value not just high fashion, but also more of a street fashion style. And like the League of Legends and Louis Vuitton crossover collection, it might speak more highly and more value in terms of social capital to those people who are interested in gaming. So the key point is, I think nowadays we all need to rethink about how we connect with the new generation, how we connect with all these consumers, which ties back to closer to the topic that we were going to talk about today. And if we look at the evolution of marketing or the evolution of brand assets in the 1.0 era, where it's more of the traditional media, and then in those days, the major channels you have is your TV and your radio, and what meant the most for the brand, where they put most of the money into, is perhaps the logo or the key brand visual, right? That's back in the time where they will invest millions and millions of money into designing those. And when you get into the mobile internet era, the brand will invest a lot in the online content, right? Your article, your video, your social media posting. And if we look forward into the future, in the era of metaverse and Web3, what we believe is because of the change of channel, the change of platform, a new era of brand assets will change as well, where it arises with virtual human, digital immersive content that can resonate with the new channel and the new generation. So why are we talking about virtual human? Because our belief is one of the really, really important points about brand personification. So this beautiful lady out there is called Monok. She is the first ever metahuman artist born from Hong Kong. And then she's actually a brand personification of our company, Gusto, where we do a lot of art tech, and we try to experiment with MetaHuman 3 years back, and then this is the first IP that we have developed. But also, as we were building this, and then we talked to a lot of clients, and then we discover the use case of MetaHuman, or this virtual IP, is actually, it helps you to personify your brand. So to a lot of consumers, the perception of the brand is not as corporate as the past anymore, but people can be a lot more relatable, and then it become a very good connecting bridges for brands to personify themselves and to connect to their community. So some people might ask, hey, is this even effective, or do you have any stats to back this up? And actually, here are some of the statistical results that show a lot of the people, even with the age group of 45 to 54, half of the people actually follow at least one virtual influencer or virtual human on their social account. And if you look at the age group under 40, majority of them, over 60–70% actually follow more than one of these virtual influencer or virtual human. And people actually do believe they find this a lot more engaging, a lot more relatable IP as a real human being. And also, here you can see about the engagement conversion rate. The green one being the real influencer, the blue one being the virtual influencer. I think I just need to say any more than showing this chart to you how effective this sort of new form of brand asset is. So obviously, building a metahuman, how and what are the key, right? So from our experience, we believe a major important thing to think about this is not about the tech only, but it's more about how you unlock the human in metahuman, right? Because I think with the tech nowadays, with AI, there are tons of AI-generated content out there. I think people see all this virtual human every single day. But why are we able to build a Monok? Why are brands paying for Monok to be the ambassador and to do all these commercial projects? I think one of the key reasons is because we have successfully unlocked a human within the metahuman. And what we meant by this is actually about the character, the persona you have and the content that we continuously pushing out to help her build up this character. So as we first trying to build Monok, we have a very clear vision. We want her to be very, very much relatable to art, right? To explore the role of art tech. And that's why she has the persona of being the world's first virtual metahuman artist. And obviously, we spend a lot of investment into figuring out the technology behind, right? How to utilize AI, how to train our own AI model, how to spend a lot of investment into CGI, rigging, animation to build up the base model we have, and in order to train this AI model. But that's only the tech side, right? The difficult part is in the marketing side. As we build up her content, as we build her presence, how do we keep her persona interesting? Because otherwise, no people want to follow her, no people want to pay attention to her. And that's why, as we set up this persona of her being born out of data, live for art, she have a very clear backstory where she, being an AI being, she have access to all this data in the world, right? So can easily process tons and tons of data that is available out there. However, one of the things she doesn't have is the human emotion. That's why she spent a lot of time, processing this data to try to understand, so what the heck is all this complicated human emotion about? And the way she expressed this sort of learning and discovery process is through the form of digital art. And that's the key reason why she is an artist and why she has the persona of an artist. And this is sort of a timeline of how we grew Monok. We spent a year sort of to R&D and to invest in this IP, and then we launched her officially in the end of 2021, so almost 2 years back. And the first collaboration we did is with Elle magazine. We did a 10 pages cover featuring different luxury brands on a fashion shoot, and for her to have a column to speak a little bit about her backstory. But if you see further on, every single collaboration that we did, we actually turned down a lot of the brands because we want to make sure that we build up her persona and build her character and make everything relatable to how we want to shape her backstory. That's why the first sort of big campaign we got is actually a campaign with Philips. So Philips Auction, one of the global top auction houses, they do a lot of art. They want to attract to Gen Z, the new generation. We created a very unique NFT art piece called Drowning in Love. And the specialty about this work is it's not just about us creating an artwork. It's actually a work of co-creation and collaboration, which I'll talk a little bit about and share a video to you all later on. And the next work, we were very honored to be invited by the Hong Kong government in the year of 2024 in celebration of the 25th anniversary of Hong Kong returning into the motherland. We were one of the artists that got invited to create an art piece outside of the Taman Park. So the government they invited 9 artists in total. 8 of them were real human beings, right, actual artists, and then we were the only virtual artists that got invited and then created an AR artwork, which is virtual as well. And obviously, the next collaboration we had it was with Delph last year, and she is actually here this year as well. If you were attending the opening session that we have this morning, she was one of the MC on the stage. And later on, we also created an art piece for the Digital Art Fair in Hong Kong. And earlier this year, we collaborated with Elle magazine again, and also bring her to different art festivals in Japan. And the most latest work is a work that we worked with Rosewood, called Rhapsody in Bloom. It's in celebration of the 4th years anniversary of Rosewood, in the conjunction time of Art Basel, where actually Rosewood have this program where they want to build up their own community, and they actually have this amazing collection of art pieces where not a lot of people were aware of. So we used this Monok to create an interactive art piece that was launched in the Rosewood lobby early on this year. So instead of having me keep speaking, why don't we let Monok to explain this artwork for herself?
What does it mean to be in bloom? I'm Monok. As a non-human meta-artist, I'm fascinated by the ways humans interact with their world and how they feel about their own flourishing. That's why I created Rhapsody in Bloom, a generative visual melody celebrating Rosewood Hong Kong's 4th anniversary and Hong Kong's rejuvenation through the Rosewood Artistry Program. This immersive art piece creates a space for humans to connect with their communities in a new and meaningful way. As you interact with my meta flowers in real time, we'll co-create an artwork that's a testament to the power of collaboration and the transformative potential within all of us. Join me in this celebration as we explore the meaning of flourishing together.
So I think from this work you can see how having a personified image of your brand would resonate with the audience much better, right? Imagine that video was just Rosewood, very corporately introducing every single art piece that they have. It might be very, very difficult to resonate with the audience out there and to resonate with all these users and to build up this image, these bridges of art related to Rosewood. But via a personified IP, people find this sort of emotional connection and resonation much easier. I think that is one of the very effective channels of utilizing virtual human. And the second part I want to talk about is about community, right? I think nowadays, when we were all talking about Web3, blockchain, metaverse, and the very core of it is actually about the community, right? Using blockchain or having this sort of different experience. Ultimately, the goal is to help a brand or to help perhaps it could be a game studio to form their own fan bases, to form their own community that you can constantly engage with these people. And one of the trends we see here, quite interestingly, is so long live the first-party data. The reason why is, as I think maybe some of you know, the cookie policy is changing, and actually nowadays it doesn't. Not just on social media, Facebook, Instagram, but even on web browser, it's going to be more and more difficult for you to obtain all these different first-party data. And that's why it becomes even more important for the brand themselves to build up their own community, to build up their own platform or channel so that they can get access to the first-party data to understand the consumer, right? To do a much more effective marketing. So if you look at this chart, right, bring it back to the different era of marketing again. In the first era, where it's mass media, it's very simple. It's all about reach, right? You don't have much of the data for you to analyze. Maybe there are only 2 TV channels you have out there and then 1 radio. So all you can do is about spreading your image as much as possible through the single channel and get as many rich as possible. But in the new era of personalization, right? Nowadays, when we're using our mobile phone every single day, they collect tons of our data. And the reason why is because it will help Facebook, Meta, Google, Alphabet. They make money from having more effective retargeting, right? Providing this service to brands. So they can very clearly understand, which are the audience that I'm targeting. I can spread my message a lot more efficiently to the potential customer that I want to target, right? It could be as specific as 25 years old, Caucasian guy living in Central that love food. I don't know. But like I mentioned, in the next few years where the first-party data die out, it becomes more important for brands to own their own community so that they can actually still be able to understand their customer and their potential customer and to drive efficacy out there. So the era is shifting and we need to adapt to this as well. But don't mistake this, right? A lot of people confused about community marketing and loyalty marketing. And what's the difference? So when we talk about loyalty, right, I think most of you here should have at least 1 membership. Where I'm not talking about Hong Kong Club. I'm talking about like your Welcome membership, your YUU membership, and all that, your McDonald's membership perhaps. All you can see, starting from 2014 to nowadays, the dormant membership, the inactive membership rates actually increased heavily, increased a lot. Right? Because all this CRM program, all this loyalty program out there, what they have been doing is they have been shoving up points and coupon and all this transactional message to you every single day. And people are actually getting less and less acceptive towards this message, right? People in the past, they love coupon. They would clip off this coupon from the newspaper to get this reward. But nowadays, people won't even bother to open up their phone and tap into this message to get this coupon. It's not going to drive the effectiveness anymore. So you can see, as Candace studied, 71% of the loyalty program actually are dying out because they're just shoving down all this transactional message to the consumer, to their members. And what happened was it's not just about they not using your discount, they're not using your your coupon that you share with them. It still have a very negative impact on your brand image, on how these people, how your consumer perceive your brand. Because all they feel is, wow, you're very corporate, you're very transactional focused. You're not actually trying to provide experience and interact with me, but you're just trying to encourage me to spend. So in that way, it's very hard for brands to build up an efficacy system, right? I think one of the best brands we see out there, one example in China, one example out of China, is Lululemon and Xiaomi. They were both super community focused and community driven. They started off with a very small, loyal group of consumer at their heart, and they constantly get the feedback from their consumer, engage with their consumer, and build up this efficacy. And the result is all these advocates, they will share, word of mouth is always the most effective marketing channel, and to bring you a lot of new prospects. And then as they join, as they engage, they become your loyal advocate again, and it become a positive flywheel effect, right? And one of the example we can see, later on in the past year, I think is Starbucks, right? Starbucks has the Starbucks reward program, which has been running for ages, and it was very successful. To be fair, they made tons of money from this, but they're still transforming, right? Last year they launched this Starbucks Odyssey program. Unfortunately, it's not launched in Hong Kong yet. It's only by invitation only in US. But the whole reason behind why they're doing this change is because they also realize, transactional focused loyalty is not working anymore. You need to drive community engagement. You need to empower experience to your customer. That's why they pivot. That's why they change it to this Odyssey program where, people are encouraged to complete journey, complete mission, to engage instead of to spend. And they actually get rewarded with engaging, via engaging with the brand, via participating in different activities. So 2 key words, if you guys can take away from today, I think it's co-ownership and co-creation. And we believe, these 2 are the very core keyword of nowadays. When we're all talking about Web3, community, the core message is about how you empower co-ownership and co-creation between the brand, the provider, and your consumer, right? Your customer, your members. And that's why one of the interesting cases that we did with Monarch again, but this was older. The first case we did with Philips, the auction house, was we were trying to help Philips engage with the new generation of potential, art lover and art buyer. So initially, they approached us and just saying, wow, this meta-human image that you guys have were fascinating. Could we do some collaboration to help us attract, Gen Z, younger people? And obviously, what they have in mind is very simple. It's just, taking a few photos, doing some social posts. And we were like, we're not going to do that because it's not going to help you actually, because we don't have a lot of followers back then. And it wouldn't be any interesting case, or it wouldn't make any impact on the market if we were just doing simple posting. So what we trying to rethink the whole thing is how can we transform what they're doing into something that can empower co-creation for the member or for the potential buyer that they have. That's why we come up with the case of Giant Enough. So back then it was still during COVID, so they couldn't hold any sort of offline auction. So they have to do tons of these online auctions. And to be frank, most of the online auctions were quite boring. It's kind of just like eBay. You're going on eBay, you have a 7-day period, and you can place your bid. You wait for 7 days. If no one outbids you, you got it. But we were thinking, how can we engage more? So we created this program where during the Valentine's Day of 2022, we overtook their global website. We overtook their hero section where we placed a Unreal Engine real-time render. And what happened is, with every visitor that click into the website, with every bid that has been placed towards the auction slot, so there were 50 auction slots in total, and then Monarch's one is being the final pieces. All these auction slots, the amount they place, all this data, we collect this data in real time, and it would transform our art piece. So our art piece wasn't really created by us alone. We only created the foundation and the algorithm. And the end result, the end art piece that auction off, were created by every single visitor that came into the Philips website and every single people that has placed a bid onto the website. So the concept behind is, we want to empower these people to be part of the art creation while they invest in art. So here is a short video to talk about the case.
Philips is proud to partner with a virtual human for the first time in company history to create a unique one-of-one NFT that will be part of our online auction, My Kawaii Valentine. Drowning in Love will be created by virtual art influencer Monarch, brainchild of BrandTech company Gusto Labs. What's so compelling about this work is that the final result will be determined by bids placed by you during the auction. So not even its creator will know what the piece looks like until the sale is finished.
The influence of her work comes from the real world. She is a metahuman, and as such, she's living in the fantasy world, but she constantly desired to be a real human being. And this work was very much influenced by her desire to feel what it feels like to be an artist, what it feels like to create.
During our 7-day online auction, bidders will see Drowning in Love on the Philips website as it is rendered in real time. As users view and bid on artworks in the sale, an algorithm will process the data into visuals. In essence, you'll be creating art while investing in art. Over 100,000 data points will be collected to generate the artwork. Hong Kong composer Terrence Ma has written a musical score that will also be generated based on data from the auction. Philips is known for being a market pioneer, and this is the first time an auction house has ever hosted a piece created in real time during an auction. We're excited to offer this completely original concept with Gusto Labs, and we look forward to seeing how this piece evolves.
So at the end, we managed to sold our own NFT artwork on Philips for over 200,000 honky, and we received a lot of coverage and interest from the new young generation buyer as well. I think this were one of the quite a good showcase on how we bring in co-creation and co-ownership into helping brand to drive and to engage with the new generation of consumer. So that's all for today. Thank you very much.